Imagine boarding a plane, trusting it will take you safely to your destination. But on June 12, Air India flight AI-171 crashed just a second after takeoff in Ahmedabad. 260 lives were lost and the nation was shocked. Now fingers are pointing at the pilots. But is that the whole story or something is bigger that is being hidden? Hello and welcome, I am FaRuK and today we are diving into mystery that got everyone talking. What was Ahmedabad plane crash really the pilot fault or are companies like Boeing and Air India dodging the blame? Let us break it down for you. A Boeing 787 Dreamliner takes off in Ahmedabad headed to London. It is a clear day. The plane climbs up to just 650 feet. Suddenly both engines stops. The plane draws. In less than a minute, it crashes into a crowded neighborhood. 241 passengers, 19 people on the ground gone. Only one person survives. The pilots, Captain Sumit Savarwal and First Officer Clive do not make it. But here is where it gets wild. The black box, the plane's voice recorder, captures something chilling. One pilot asks, "Why did you turn off the fuel?" The other replies, "I didn't." But wait, the fuel switches which control the engines were turned off just a second after takeoff, then turned back on. But it was too late, the plane was already falling. The preliminary report by India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau says that fuel switches were cut off. That stops the fuel and the engines die. The report seems to point at the pilots, but hold on, these were not rookie pilots. The Captain Savarwal had over 10,000 hours of flying experiences. That's like flying over 13 years. First Officer Kundar had 1,000 flying hours. Could they really make such a basic mistakes? Here is the big question: why would pilots turn off the fuel mid-flight? That is like turning off your car's engine while speeding down a highway. Experts says it is almost impossible to accidentally flip those switches. They have locks to prevent mistakes. You have to pull them up to move them. So what is really happened? Was it a pilot error or is something else is going on? Now let us talk about Boeing Air India. Back in 2018, the US Federal Aviation Administrator or FAA warned about a problem. Some Boeing fuel switches had faulty locks. This was on Boeing 737s, but the same design is used in 787, the plane that crashed. Air India didn't check these switches because the warning was not mandatory. Why not? And if there was known issue, should not they have fixed it? Boeing has a history of trouble. In 2018 and 2019 two Boeing 737 MAX plane crashed, killing 346 people. At first Boeing blamed the pilot. Later it was clear the planes had software problems. Boeing knew that but didn't act fast enough. Now this is sound familiar, right? So in Ahmedabad the focus is on the pilots again. Is this another cover up to hide a design flaw or a maintenance mistake by Air India? And there is more. The plane's emergency locator transmitter, a device that sends a signal during a crash, didn't work. Whose fault was that? Not the pilots. It points to maintenance issue or a technical glitch. Some experts think the plane's electronic control unit might have messed with fuel switches. If true, that is a machine's problem, not a human one. Think about this, both pilots died in the crash. They can't defend themselves, so it's up to the investigator to be fair. But the report barely mentions Boeing or Air India role. Why are they protecting big companies? The pilots group ALPA India says that this feels one-sided. They are worried about the pilots are being made scapegoats. This crash is not just about one plane. It is about trust. When you or your family board a flight, you trust the airline, the plane maker or the regulator to keep you safe. But if companies like Boeing dodge responsibility or if Air India skips maintenance, that trust breaks. And when investigation focus on only pilots, the real truth might stay buried. So what is next? We need answers. A fair investigation, one that looks at Boeing, Air India in every detail, not just the pilot. The truth matters for the 260 people who lost their lives and for everyone who flies. So let us demand transparency. Let us make sure that this never happens again. So share this story, ask questions, and because safety is not just a promise, it is a responsibility.